Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. How are you today? Let's see. Today, at the time of filming, this is Tuesday. We had a busy week this week, and I'll get into that in just a minute. I just want to welcome you all for joining me here today. This is Charm Grammy Crochet, and my channel is about mostly crochet, some yarn stuff, and camping or traveling. We live in a camper. We sold our home not quite a year ago. And we own two campers. This one that I'm currently in is the bigger camper, and we've had it for 11 years, and we just sold it, and it will be going bye-bye on October 6th, and we'll just be staying in our smaller camper, which is our travel camper that we bought last year for our travel adventures after retirement. That was the plan when we bought the smaller one, and things change as life goes on. We thought we would spend the summers in this camper here close to home, where home was, and travel during the not summer months in the small camper. And this summer, right now, 2025, we were planning on having been to Alaska. But plans changed, and Alaska has been put off until next summer, when we won't be rushed to get there and won't be rushed to get home. So we're going to spend 90% of the summer going to, staying in, and coming back to Ohio from Alaska. We won't be leaving from Ohio to Alaska. But we will be, I'm planning on 4 to 6 weeks in Alaska. I hope that we can do that. And seeing all the things that Alaska has to offer. And since we won't be back here next summer, I'm thinking we'll be getting back to Ohio around September. We didn't want to keep this camper and keep it abandoned for, we wouldn't be back to here really, and then the whole next winter of 2026 to 2027 would be empty. And I just figured we put up to the woods. This would just be a home for wild critters by the time we would get back to it. So we opted to sell it, and so we did. But we're quite comfortable in the smaller camper. We did live in it for 3 or so months last winter, when it was terrible winter weather. For last winter was really bad. Winter of 24 to 25, colder everywhere than where it was supposed to be. And so we spent more time in the camper than we thought, and less time doing things because it was just too cold to do the things. We're hoping for better, and cross your fingers, say a little prayer that we have better weather this year over the winter, when we head out and head with several stops along the way to wintering in Florida, and then heading over towards spring training in the spring in Arizona, where our Guardians play. There'll always be the Indians in my heart, and Chief Wahoo, I'm sorry. And it's not a thing I'm going to talk about, but there were the Indians my whole life. So it's really hard to make the adjustment to a different name. I still want to be part of the tribe. And I don't know what we are now if we're not a tribe of followers, And we do love baseball. Actually, I have several signed baseballs from years ago, when my kids were young, and we used to go to the games a lot. And then we kind of got out of it as the kids got older. Roy worked second shift, and I didn't go by myself for sure. And schedules changed, and plans change. But anyway, sorry, I totally swirled on that. But we are coming to the conclusion of our season here in this campground, because most northern Ohio campgrounds close in the wintertime. And this one closes on October 15th. So the night of October 15th, we will be in Virginia and no longer in Ohio. this camper, having been sold, needs to be completely emptied. You know, just with the bare essentials of what comes in the camper. Not so much a problem because most everything that's still in here we brought in from the other camper. There were a few things that I generally didn't keep much in the camper over the winter because critters do try to get in, and if you leave them blankets, they're gonna nest, you know. So, and you can't leave like liquids because they're gonna freeze, and then you're gonna have a mess when the bottles break. So we mostly empty everything out of the camper every winter. We don't have to do that this year. We just have to completely empty it this year. But like I said, most everything that's in here came from the small camper, so I know that it fits. Except I have more yarn. I don't know how. Well, I do. It wasn't intentional. People gave me yarn along the way. So when I packed up our house and I packed the small camper for crocheting, and it was going to be crochet that's going to last me a couple of months, probably more than what I need because I always overpack crochet. You know, you get bored with something, or you find out you don't like making it, or it's not turning out and you like trash that, then you need a different project, right? But I had several projects that I had in mind that I wanted to make. I don't remember what all of them are. I know one is that I wanted to make a squiggly wiggly. It's like a mile a minute from Juan, the crochet addict. He had several people were making them last year for Boggy Creek, and I never got to making mine, and I wanted to make that. So I packed yarn specific for that blanket. There was a blanket that I was trying to figure out. It was a creative grandma stitch. And Donna made one that was beautiful in greens and grays, and I wanted to make one in pinks. And I started it. It wasn't as pretty as Donna's. And so I put it away, but I packed the yarn for that. We were doing a crochet along as a Zoom group with, trying to think of the name. I can't think of the name of it. Sophie's Universe, Sophie's Choice, Sophie's something, I think, blanket. Big, thick book. I had it spiral bound because it was so big. Big amount of yarn for that. Lots of different colors. I started it. I don't remember where I am on it. But I packed all the yarn for that because Nancy, we were all doing it as a group. Nancy got behind. Nancy from She's Got Yarn. And so I waited for her. And I don't know, but then it's packed under the bed in the other camper. I still want to do those projects. But then I know there's another project under there, an illusions blanket that we were also going to do as a group. That was going to be our winter project last, or fall, or whatever. An illusions blanket from this book that many of us bought from the Zoom girls. And we never started it. And I know I have yarn packed for that. I wasn't real thrilled about the blankets because actually they're adorable. They're cute. I mean, they're great blankets. But they screw with my eyes. You're like, you know, yeah, they give you, that's why they're illusions, because they give you the illusion that it looks like this, but it looks like that, you know, kind of thing. And they're really cool blankets. I don't know if I could figure out how to do one by myself. Maybe I could. Maybe I could find a tutorial. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to continue to bring that yarn with me. Those are the only things I remember that are in there. There might be more. That bed seems to hold a lot. So I want to grab what yarn I have in that camper out. See what I have. See what I still want to make. What I forgot I had in there. Everything had its pattern with it. Of things that I wanted to make. And like I said, I don't even... You know how that wish list is of things you want to make and it just gets longer and longer and longer? Well, there we go. And I never... I had things that I was working on that I finished. Including the 52 dishcloths. And I put that yarn away. That is back in the storage unit. I had packed a bag of yarn, all cotton colors, to make those washcloths out of, and I made as many as I made. I think I did 48 of them, and the yarn is gone. The washcloths are still, a lot of them are still here, but the yarn is in the storage unit. And then I bought, other yarn when at Boggy, after we delivered blankets last year, I bought yarn. Nancy sent me yarn. Joe from Joe's Web gave me yarn. Nancy didn't send it. She gave it to me. Take some, take some, take some. You can't leave Nancy's house without taking yarn or she's offended. And I don't want to offend her. And I am working on projects with that yarn. Then we stopped at Joann's because it was the last, and I bought the Boggy Creek Blanket yarns for the cabin colors in those big balls. And I've made blankets out of those, and I still have some. And I bought some more neon colors that I still have, and more, like when you use a lot of colors in one blanket, it doesn't take a lot of the yarn, individual colors, you know what I mean? So my balls, my balls of Boggy Blanket yarn in the cabin colors are still really big. And then I went to Dollar Tree and I bought that yarn. So there's a lot of yarn in this camper. And I have to organize it to fit better, or make the hard decision and put some of it in the camper. In the storage unit. Roy says you just keep accumulating more as you're going on. So I need to make those decisions. So I decided one thing for sure was that I wanted some of those bags that you can, suck the air out of, and it stores a lot of yarn. Just suck the air. I don't care if the ball bands get destroyed because I'm just going to make the blankets or whatever that I was going to make out of them anyway. I have one bag from Nancy that's squished yarn, and it squishes a lot. So today was going to be the day that I was going to pull all that yarn out of the camper and make my decisions and go through the yarn that I have here and see what I'm going to do. So we went to Dollar Tree, which is where I am 99% sure I bought those bags before. And I know that I have some in the storage unit. I don't know where, because we had other stuff in them. Or maybe I threw them away. I don't know. But anyway, if they're in the storage unit, I would never find them again at this point. So I went to Dollar Tree. I haven't seen those in a long time, they told me. So I went to Dollar General, and they're like, I don't think we ever carried those. And I went to another local store that gets that kind of stuff in, thinking maybe I bought them there. They don't have them. Maybe Walmart is where I got them, but I could have swore it was Dollar Tree. Like you'd get $2 for $1, or maybe $1 even. I don't remember. But the Dollar Tree here doesn't have them and says they haven't seen them in a while. So I ordered some on Amazon, and they will be here tomorrow morning. I won't be able to do this tomorrow because tomorrow and Thursday we're taking off. We're running an errand up to Michigan for my son. And so we were thinking it's a lengthy drive. We could do the whole thing in one day, but we don't want to. Why do that to ourselves? We've got time, so we're going to drive up. And Royce, so we were looking at what can we do in, near Grand Rapids. We're going to get there. It's going to be later in the day. We got our stuff to pick up. We can pick that up in the morning and then maybe do something in the afternoon. Pick that up when we get there and do something on Thursday and then drive home. But we still have like a 5-hour drive or whatever. So Roy said, there's a lot of yarn stores up there. Why don't we just do some yarn stores? I said, okay. So tomorrow we're going to do, I never got to finish the yarn crawl here. The tour for the prizes was over on Sunday, and I was not in town. So I only got to go that one day. It was just not the right timing. We were doing other things, and we didn't want to leave the campground because people were coming and looking at the camper, and we were trying to get it sold. So we were trying to stay home more. But now it's sold, so now we can do whatever we want, including empty this thing out. So that's going to take up a little bit of time too. So the bottom line is, we're going to go up to Michigan tomorrow, and we're going to stop at a couple of yarn stores on our way there and on our way back, or vice versa, whatever, once we're there. I know they close early, so maybe he'll drop me off at a yarn store, go pick up the stuff he's got to pick up, and then come pick me back up. I don't know how exactly we're going to work that out, but I'm excited about that. And I will video as much as I can so I can show you guys what we saw. Then, I did pull some things. Lynanne gave me squares when I was in Florida last winter, and she gave me a bag full of squares, and she, make into blankets for Boggy Creek, the squares that you guys sent. Boggy Creek is that camp in Florida that gives chronically ill kids a chance to go to camp, and they go home with a handmade, crocheted, knitted, woven blanket. And that's our charity of choice. So we make blankets. We encourage you to make blankets and send them to us. So all blankets go to Nancy. Her mailing address is in the description box below. But a couple years ago, Lynanne challenged people to send her, just send me squares and I'll put them into blankets. If you don't want to make a whole blanket, you can't afford to ship a whole blanket, a couple of bucks, you can send a few squares in and I'll put them into blankets. Well, she ended up with like 5 million squares. Literally, she's been working on them for a couple of years. And she has doled them out to other people too. I've made several blankets out of the squares myself. Every time I go to Florida, she sends me home with more squares. So I sorted through what I've made 1 or 2 blankets already out of them. And I sorted through them, and there, Lynanne took some of the squares just this past week. She showed a blanket where she took like 4 squares, sewed them together, made a square, and then just kind of outlined the square and did like 4 or 6 of those squares into a blanket instead of putting like 50 squares together and doing that. She did it in this other means, and I'm like, that's a good idea, because I have squares. So I have these squares, beautiful colors. Look at all the pretty colors, and there's like 2 of each color, pretty much. Yep, I think so. 2 of each color. These all had to be made by the same person, and look how pretty they are. I mean, it's a really pretty, and I'm sure I could find a pattern and make more of them myself. But if I take these and did like Lynanne did, or just put these ones together, because my original thought was we need like close to 50, I think, to make a blanket. And I thought, well, I could, take my scraps and make more. But then I just was like, Lynanne, that's a great idea. I can put 4 of these together, and then sew like a big border around the 4 of them to make a bigger one, like a 10-inch square out of the 4 smaller squares, and make blankets that way, and not have to try to match the pattern or match the size with a different pattern, which was like, oh, maybe I'll do the farmhouse granny square. I like that pattern and I like the design of it. But doing it like this, these could then still be the center of attention because they're so special. And the colors are gorgeous. So if I put it together with like white, how gorgeous would that be? Because of those bright, pretty colors in there. And just do that. So I'm like, okay, here's one blanket. I just got to figure out how I'm going to put the colors together. Kind of rainbowish, I think, so I'm loving that. So this will be one blanket, plus I'm not going to make more squares. I'm just going to make bigger squares out of these squares. And so I need to decide how I'm going to do that, So I decided these squares are all going together. How many are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So that'll give me 5. If I have 4 in a section, that gives me 5 sections. Well, that doesn't work out. Maybe I'll just put the 2s together that are the same, and I'll figure it out. But I think this is going to go together with white. So now I have to make sure that I have white to put this together with. Just like, you know, Big Twist or Loops and Threads or whatever, or just solid white, because I think cream would tone down the bright colors too much, and I don't want to do that. So, and black, I don't want to work with black. Not with these. I think white is the way to go. So this is going to end up being one blanket, however I put it together. Maybe I'll just sew all of them together and then just do a big, huge border of like the granny stitch. Big, huge, then granny stitch in the center. But I really like the idea of matching them and then making squares out of the squares. So that's the first set. And maybe this is, so there's several that either have appliques on them or hearts. So maybe this would be 5 squares if I did 4. So maybe I'd do one set of, like, look at these. Aren't these cute? So put these in a square with these in a, you know, these 4 hearts in a, well, maybe not those hearts together. They're real bright with the not real but these are beautiful. I love them. I love all of them. So maybe, I don't know, something. We'll figure it out. But so there's just a few of these. So I want to incorporate these with the hearts. Into all of these other blankets that are here. But now, so now I know these are going to be incorporated. We'll figure it out. So that's more of them that are left. Then I love these. And they're the same pattern, all these different colors. And like they deserve to be their own blankie, because I just think that, you know, but there's not that many. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these. So maybe this in the big center. Put these 10 together. 4, 6, right? 2, 4, 6, yeah. And then just do a rectangular blanket. 5 and 5. And then make a big rectangle out of the rest. That's a good idea, right? What do you guys think? I mean, if you have suggestions, I'm open. And now this, maybe white again? I'm not sure. So what do you think with these are like big sunflowers, white sunflowers. Do white yarn? Like they're all different colors and they're beautiful colors. I don't know if I like white yarn. I don't know about gray yarn. Like what color? Not black. Because these are so bright, and I think the black would just, I mean, they're cheery, and I don't think white is, I mean, I don't think black is the way to go. But what do you guys think? Maybe a variegated? I don't really have much of that here. I think pretty much everything I have is solids. What do you think? What color should I join or put around these? Maybe, maybe like a, well, yellow, because we know I love yellow these days. Maybe even like just any one of the colors. The orange would be pretty if I have like a varsity orange. Or maybe some kind of green, like these are in the meadow. And then there's grass all around. Green, what do you think? Not, you know, like a pretty green. Not like, I mean, not that hunter green isn't pretty, but not dark green. And none of these have green on them. The closest we got is like this mint. So maybe some kind of green color. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Then we just have some regular grannies. So maybe I could even put these around these and do something like that. Mix these, and how many of these do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I have 16 of these that are just regular Grammys. Now these I could easily make more of and just make, you know, a regular granny, but I'm trying to be more creative than that. And I don't really, I know I made all those grannies out of the 3-weight yarn for a sweater, but they're 3-weight and this is all acrylic. And then finally I have these that are all just mix and match, different designs. Some are granny, but they're not, like those first ones I think were all made by the same person. And these are different people, and so they're different. But maybe I could put those all together and mix these in with the solids. Because these are, none of these are really solids. They're all variegated or multiple colors. So maybe that's what I'll do. How many of these do we have? And then that'll just be like a scrappy, and so I like that idea. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 or 34 of these. One I might have counted, one I think I accidentally skipped. So I think I have 33 or 34 plus those. That would be like 40. I could do that. This could be, if I put these solid ones in with these not solid ones, that could be a blanket and just put those suckers together. If I had to make a few, it would only be a couple. And I could do that probably even out of scrap yarn and then whip them suckers up with some gray or something, because I bought gray for and blue just for doing that, for putting these together. I think that's going to work. So I think these 2 stacks here, so this stack and this stack is going to be one blanket. This stack I might put around this stack with these. Let me show you. And make one blanket. And then I can incorporate these in between. Do half and half. What do you guys think? I think that'd be a good idea. Or just put these all, isn't that just so cute? Put these in with this blanket. I think that's, so then there'll be 2 blankets, because there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the hearts with appliques. That would give me about 50. So that's it. That'll be one blanket. This will be maybe its own blanket, but I doubt it. I think I'm going to put all these pretty solids with that design and the sunflowers into one blanket. Like sew these together and then sew these around the outside. And see what it looks like, and then decide what color to go. Well, I have to decide what color to put them together with. I'm going to put them together with white, I think. Unless I have a, like, I think I'm going to just do white. That's what I think I'm going to do. That's the color that just keeps jumping out at me. Do white. So yeah, those are going to go together with white. And then these are going to go into another one with either, I think, a solid color. Maybe that denim blue or gray that I bought, that I made my nephew's great nephew's blanket out of, that had to match the other blanket that he doesn't know the difference of. And he loves them both. Now he thinks he just has two favorite blankies that he can't sleep without. So that's awesome for him. And they were the exact same yarn, and I know I didn't make that first one, so that's pretty cool. And what else? I have one more thing to show you. Oh, we're 30 minutes. Okay. Or maybe I'll wait. I won't show it to you until it's completely 100% done and ready to go. No, I'm going to show you and talk to you about it now. And then I can show you and tell you the outcome. So I've worked on and finished 90%, 99% Chloe's sweater. It's made out of homespun, and the color is called Pearls, and this is 3 cakes, or 3 skeins of the 5-weight yarn. The thing that's not done is that I have made the sleeves, but I didn't cut the ends, because I don't know if she wants them drawn in, which I could do with like a slip stitch or a tight single crochet to make them not as, and that's the only thing that's not done. So this is what the sweater, it's just 2 panels. It has the boat neck, 2 panels. Let me see if I can back you up a little without knocking you down. And then, so I sewed the shoulders shut, and then I put it on her, and she decided this is where she wants the armholes to go, which were really big, even big on me. And so I shortened the roundness of them by 15 stitches as it went down the arm just at the beginning. So it won't be tight on her anywhere. The arms are not tight on me, even, at the bottom, and she's way smaller than me. So she'll have plenty, but if it's not, it's going to be like a 3/4 length sleeve, I think, on her. And I wanted the sleeves to be longer, like definitely down to at least her wrist and maybe a little bit over her hand. That was my idea. And then gathered at the wrist. I don't know if she wants not ribbed, just a tight 1 row of tighter stitching. Maybe go down a hook size or something and make it a little tighter. So and that's what I would do if I was wearing it. I don't know if that's what she wants done. So all in all, it looks like this. I hope you can see. I can't see through it. But this is what it looks like if you're like holding it up at the shoulders. Oh, I'm up too high maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I can't see, so I hope you're getting a good eyesight of it. The sleeves are not as long as the body. They're not as many rows anyway. The idea was for it to be a cropped sweater, like meet the top of her jeans, and then have the sleeves be longer. That's the pattern I saw that I liked, was that style, and so that's what I was trying to make with a boat neck, because I can do a boat neck. I know how to do that without a pattern. And so this is what I did. I followed just a design idea in my head and made my own stitch. The design that I looked at, I think it might have had some bobbles, and this yarn is so textured that adding texture to the shirt is just redundant. You can't tell. You wouldn't be able to tell. And because the yarn is so thick, like she could, but doesn't have to necessarily wear something underneath of it, because it's not going to be tight on her, so it won't be stretched where you can see her undergarments or anything like that. And it'll be nice and soft on the skin. So this string is what's left of the 3rd skein. So 1 skein to make the 2 arms, and 1 skein to make each the front and back panel. I had that 3rd skein that had some multiple colors in it. The background color was this color, the base of it, but then it had some purple and teal that also was in the bag of yarn I bought at the garage sale. Chloe did not like that colored yarn. As I said in my last video, I thought maybe, you know, adding a big stripe in the center, or, you know, finishing off, like doing edging or something like that in that color to add, to be able to make the sweater bigger. Originally, she did not want it cropped, even though that was my sweater idea. First of all, there was no way that 3 skeins wasn't going to be a cropped sweater. I knew that. I think she'll like it. She liked it when it wasn't done, so I just wanted, before I cut it, and I was working out of one sleeve on the inside of the skein and the other sleeve on the outside of the skein, and I do 3 rows here, 3 rows there, 3 rows, you know, and I did that all last night and finished it. Uh-oh, I just dropped stuff out of my bag. I used my pink hook that just fell on the floor. I think it's an 8mm hook. To make this, and I really do like it. It's going to be warm, it's going to be soft and cuddly, and I hope that she likes it too. If not, I hope she gives it to somebody that will. She would never tell me if she really didn't like it, and I know that, but I think it's pretty, and I think it'll look great on her. So once I give it to her and we finish the sleeves, which, I mean, it's 30 stitches around now, the end of the sleeve, so that won't take but a minute, and weave in those ends. The ends on the other panels are woven in, everything's done. I'll get her to put it on and get pictures of her in it, if she likes it or not. So that's where we are with that. I'm real happy about my choice of yarn for that sweater, or I should say that sweater for that yarn. I did work some more on my buddy over here. I was crocheting on him in the car today when we went to the stores. He's getting there. This is Frankenstein's head. So far, so good. I gotta dig out some black yarn for it. This is what's left of that 1 pound size, 800 some yards of the Dollar Tree yarn for Frankenstein's head. Again, I'm not using a pattern on this either. It's just double crochet until it's the right size. Then I'm just gonna make some black eyes and a black smile. So he's gonna be my Frankenstein smiley face blanket. And I think I'm gonna do the things on his neck, the bolts. I think I'm gonna do those in black too. I don't know that I have a color that will work, you know, around here. I had a gray sugar wheel cotton, but I think I packed that. I think I packed that back at the storage unit, and I'm not going to go looking for it because it's just too much like work. And this is supposed to be fun, not work. So I'm excited to have talked these things out. I really want to know what you guys think as far as colors go, particularly on this blanket. I'm really leaning towards white. This is the one with the sunflowers, and then these real pretty designed chrysanthemum, maybe is what that's supposed to be, stitch, or chrysanthemum square, and daisies or sunflowers or something. I know they're not the right color center for that, but for a sunflower, but I love those. I think they're so pretty. I think it'll be a really pretty blanket. And the others I'm just going to do as a scrap blanket. I think that's a great idea. I don't know why I thought they had to be separated. But I think a scrap blanket with all of the... I'm just going to put them in a bag and reach out and grab one. Just make sure the two of the same aren't touching. that's how I'm going to do that one. Because they all have the same number of grannies across. So they'll all fit together, even though some of them are bigger than others. We can stretch out some and we'll make it work. I'll make it work. So you won't see me for the next 2 days because I'll be traveling and I won't make a video while I'm traveling, even though I might make the video, meaning I will put it together. You know, I mean, I'll film. Tomorrow night is Boggy unboxing at, well, when you see this, it'll be tonight, Wednesday, at Jaxie's. So this is going to go up early Wednesday morning while I'm out. I'm pretty sure it'll go up Wednesday. Maybe it'll go up today. Depends on how fast it uploads. My internet is always sketchy out here. So if it gets done tonight, it'll go out tonight. Otherwise, it'll go out tomorrow morning. But Wednesday, the Boggy unboxing is at Jaxie's house. So please join us there. I will be doing... I did not get paid yet for all of the $150 of blessings that we were given, but I'm going to pull them all anyway. I'm going to do 8 $20 shipping blessing gifts. Tomorrow we'll give those away during the live, but I will have pulled the names already. And you guys will just have to trust me that I didn't cheat. Because I'm not going to do it during the live. I have other obligations to do during that time. And I actually 100% hope that I'm taking my laptop and I will try to be doing the live from the hotel. So we'll see how that works out for us. If not, if it doesn't, if I can't get, you know, if I can't stream from the hotel, I would think I should be able to, but if, you know, the Wi-Fi signal isn't strong enough or whatever, then I'll just tell you who the winners were the next week. So please be understanding of that. Okay, that's all that I have for you. Another longer video. Some people I know love them, some people I don't. I know don't, but anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow on the live. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're new, thanks for watching. If you're old, thanks for watching again and again. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.